Good evening, everyone. So, as usual, we'll read the chapter we're going to talk about because we're rushing from different places. And KL, somebody from Malacca came the other day and had to go to the Open University. And we started at about 8:45 a.m. from the center. And almost approaching the Old Istana Road towards Jalan Duta. And we went jammed all the way, from there all the way to Jalan Duta. And he said, 吉隆坡哪里是人住的？吉隆坡并唔係人住嘅。It's true, isn't it? I mean, how much time do you think Kuala Lumpur residents spend on the road? Maybe 30% of their life should be spent on the road. So I suggest that maybe on the road you should listen to some good songs, some good music, and maybe some lectures. So we'll soon have some CDs coming out in English, but we've got lots of Chinese ones. So yeah, just put this in there, or even recite this and memorize them. That will do you very good. So when you get angry or when you feel really upset, remember a line from here. And I have to do something, which is I'm always not very good at, which is put the things back at their original place. And which means that 置官服有定位. That means whatever we take, like the bowl, if I take it from here, I should return it to this position. If I took my handphone from that desk, I should replace it, put it back at that place. Okay? So that I don't have to spend hours looking for handphones, keys, my books, my computers, because I like to leave them, at the last place I stop. So basically, you can look at the trail of my stuff, you can know where I have been. So I will leave like books, keys, wallet, all along the trail. So if I lose something, I just follow back, I just trace back where I've been, and I will find them. But that is not very efficient, isn't it? So the best way is take the things after we use them, put it back at their place where we put them. So I have to work on that. So let's turn to page 5. And by the way, you know how T-shirts have writing? We love to wear T-shirts that have writing in it. So tonight I saw somebody's T-shirt said, I love, a big heart. I love, but, ... So it's kind of cute, isn't it? So I love, but what? So you add in all the buts in there, right? And so yeah, it can be negative, isn't it? Because I love, but. That means what follows will be conditional. You set the conditional. If we change on I love and, that will be different. And there was a T-shirt that said, if you come close to me, you die. Really obnoxious, looking T-shirt. And there was once I was in Australia, I saw an old student, and he was wearing a black T-shirt with some very obnoxious writing. I'm not going to repeat here, so I said, excuse me, can you change your shirt? He said, why? Teachers don't you think it's cool? I said, yeah, it's cool, but it's going to make a lot of people mad, and it's rather violent. So, do you mind? But I can't go back home now. So he borrowed a shirt somewhere and covered his T-shirt out of respect for me. So maybe after I left there, maybe he will continue to wear that horrible-looking T-shirt. And one of the children in the class is wearing a T-shirt that said what? 禅慧. That means that it's meditation, stillness. Okay, 定慧 and wisdom, which is nice, even though he doesn't understand the words. So, but the fact that he likes them, and that's potential. So let's turn to page 5. chapter 2, interacting with others away from home. And we'll start with 65 all the way to 108. Okay? Look at the whole notion about fraternity love. Now we should love our siblings, our brothers and sisters. Say in Chinese, the relationship between the brothers and sisters is what we call 长幼 序. 长幼有序 means 长 is the elder one. Yu means the junior, the younger one. Okay. Another word, it also can be senior and junior. Yu is has. Shi, order. In biology, we call it the pecking order. Now, in nature, you will see that animals who live in a group, like the apes, the chimpanzees, or even the lions, all these animals who live in groups, they have what we call the pecking order. They know who is the elders, right? They know who is the leader of the pack. So in this pack, the elders would control the younger ones. But they keep peace and order that way. So this chapter is all about order. The sense of ordering, the sense of forefront as well as what is come after it. It's a way to maintain peace and order. So the siblings call it 长幼有序. And what is the importance of having this order? If we don't have this order, then we will have fights all the time. And nobody can control anybody. So you will find that in any company or in school, people with the same age find it hard to tell the other person what to do. The other person will not follow or listen. What we call 同辈. It's very hard to tell each other what to do. So we need a more senior ones to tell the junior one what to do. So in the Chinese tradition, starting from your family, you have to impart this kind of idea into their head. That being an elder in the family, you have a responsibility to set a role model to take care of the younger ones. And they have to listen to you. So in our family, you always have to tell the eldest one, okay, that you are the example for your brothers and sisters. And you have to tell the younger brothers and sisters, you must follow your elder brother or your elder sister. So when he goes out to work or when she goes out to work, right, they will follow this order as well. They will not easily rebel against their superior because they learn it from him. So if you find that, just as a surveyor, do you think you are a good worker, an obedient worker, or you think you are very quite rebellious? You know, the boss will ask you to do something, you will think twice. Maybe the boss is not right. I can do it better. I can always go, round my boss, and I do it my way, because my way is better. I will criticize my boss even behind his back. okay? And maybe hope to topple my boss, that kind of thinking. Do you think you are this type of person? Or you think you are very quite obedient in a way that you will follow orders, but if you really think your boss has gone out of over the board, you'll tell him or her what's the right thing to do. But if your boss insists it's his or her way, you will oblige. Okay? Now, if you really feel that your superior is terrible, and there's nothing you can do to help your superior, and by following your superior, the company will go down, will go down, then you can choose to leave the company, but not topple your boss. So you think about it. Are you that kind of person who follow instructions, but make the best out of it, and even make it better? And after you have done it, going your way, you modify your boss way a little bit, you give that your boss have all the praises. Instead of saying, see, thanks to me. Otherwise, my boss will be in that trouble. But thanks to me, always thanks to me. Or you say, no, it's all due to my boss. Thank you for him. If not for him or for her, I'll be able to accomplish my task. It starts from the family. It starts from the family. So if you are very good to your brothers and sisters, you tend to be a person who can work with other people. But if you find that you always quarrel with your brothers and sisters, you may find just the same hard to work with other people. So it all starts from the family. There is another step, on top of the brother and sister, which is our parents. And being good to our brothers and sisters is also another way to express our filial piety. Because parents are hurt if the brothers or the sisters cannot get along. Who do you think your mother should side when you fight? Who do you think you should side? When you were growing up, remember? We all fight, right? We all fight brothers and sisters all the time. Do you think your mother should have sided your side? She should side? No one. She should be fair. Okay, she should be fair. Otherwise, you may pamper the younger ones too much, or you may favor the elder one too much. Now, there was once a very rich man. He couldn't decide which son. He got two sons. He couldn't decide which sons to give his inheritance to, his business to, right? Because he liked both of them. Okay, and he feels that both of them are good. And actually, he likes the elder one, but he didn't know what to do. So he felt, I better ask a very wise man how I can decide which son should get my business. So she asked a very wise old man, why do wise men are always old? In the Chinese, or even in the Western fictions, don't you find that all the wise guys are old? Like in Star Wars, Yoda was very old, he was very crinkly, wrinkly, and every time you hear Yoda will be, Skywalker, believe the Force. It's always an old guy, right? And in the Panda, the Kung Fu Panda, Mowgli, the old turtle, he's also, Mowgli. You can do it, like they're all old people. Why? Because, and also they seem to have very long beard. That's signify they are old. Okay? It actually is symbolic. It's supposedly you get wiser as you get older because you bump the walls enough, you got troubles enough. So they're supposed to be more experienced and more wise. Okay, so we say we were young and foolish. But my professor had another one, and he said, I hope you won't be old and foolish. So we ought to be old and wise. So there he was. He asked the old wise man, what am I going to do to decide which son should get my business? So the old man said, well, it's very simple. Let me talk to them. So he talked to the eldest one first. He said, you know, if someone will give you $1 million, all you have to do is go and slap your father once. Would you do it? So the son quickly go over, the elder son quickly go over to the father and slap him. And well, I get my money. And he said, woman said, okay, wait. And he asked the second son, if someone will give you $1 million, you go and slap your father once. Would you do it? The second son said, no, I won't do it. No matter how much money anybody give me, I won't do it. Because he's my father. So the old man told this to the father and asked the father, okay, you decide who you should give your money to. So who you should give your money to? The one you like or the one you don't like? You like the eldest son because he was very decisive. He seemed to be more aggressive. He had a lot of ideas. He's always on the go. The second son seems to be more reserved, a little more careful because he always consider, whether what he was doing was right or not, whether he was filial or not. So in the end, he chose the second one. Chose the second son because it shows that that son who's very virtuous will be able to take care of the money. Now, contrary to this story, way back during the spring and autumn period, there was a duke. Okay? He was trying to decide who should inherit him. Then he decided on a son who everybody told him, be careful, because this son is very cruel, he's very cunning, but he was the smartest. But they all told the father, do not be cheated by your son's smart cleverness, because he can do a lot of harm. But the father did not listen. He still chose his son as his successor. And sure enough, he was very cruel. He used all kinds of tactics to invade other people's territory, including flooding the whole land of his so-called he wanted that land, but the river is on his side. So he broke the dike and let the water go in and flooded the whole fort. And they were so starved that it was said they had to start eating, corpses, okay, and to eat human flesh because they were so starved. And he was so happy about that. He said, you see, I can win because I can use a tactic. Now the other two Jews, the minor Jews, heard that. Originally they were helping him. When they heard he was laughing, the fact that he could use the tactic, they suddenly thought about this. Their lands, their kingdoms were just adjacent to that piece of land, which means that he could use the same tactic on their kingdoms. So say, we cannot help this guy, man. If he wins, we'll be next. So they redirected it, okay, and then helped the trapped duke went against that cruel lord. So in the end, he was killed, and the lord of that trapped land hated him so much, he made his skull into a cup. Okay, that was how much he hated, because he killed so many people. But why did his father choose him? Why did his father choose him against all these advices? Because he thought that his son will win all the battles and gain more land for them, without thinking that, remember the chart we drew? Somebody who's very moral or virtuous as opposed to somebody who is unvirtuous, immoral. Somebody who is very confident. Somebody who is confident. Or you can say smart. therefore, on one end of the spectrum is someone who is very virtuous. On the other end is someone who is not virtuous, very immoral. These are the two extreme ends. And on this side, we have a very competent person. 他是很有才的. He's very talented, very competent, very shrewd. Anything that he can talk about, what we so-called a leader, okay, because he will lead. Okay. And on the other end is someone who is 无才. This person is not that smart. He's not that smart, not as smart, not as competent as this guy. Okay? So, when someone who is virtuous, moral, and competent, we call him the saint, the 圣人. This is the ideal man, the ideal, what we call the philosopher king. And he's the saint king. And this person, he's virtuous, but he's not as clever or as capable. Like this one, we can also say capable. Now, remember how we define Cai is he is smart, and he's very observant, and he's very strong, and he is determined. The 4 criteria of competence. Now, this is the Chinese traditional way of defining competence. 有才华的人. So how do they define Cai? One, this guy must be very clever. I'll use simplified Chinese, easier for you. So, he's very clever. He's definitely not stupid or foolish. He's very calculative. He actually can see further than people. He's very observant. He may even have insight or foresight. Qiang is very strong. Strong in the sense that he's very strong in whatever he does. Acts like a leader. 聪察强毅. He means he's very determined. So according to Cai De Lun, an article written by Sima Guang, if a person who is very clever and is very observant or perceptive, he can see and he can find out what you are thinking, and he knows the opportunity. He's not foolish and strong. He has the ability to the task given to him. And he has the ability to plan, right? And he has the ability to succeed. It's very strong, personality-wise, leadership-wise. And he is determined. Remember there's a book called A Dare to Fail, which is not wrong, isn't it? After you fail, you climb back up, you start over again. But it all depends on your goal, isn't it? What happens if your goal, your purpose is to harm somebody or to get something that you shouldn't? And you say, I dare to fail. It's quite scary, isn't it? So it all depends on your goal. If your goal is correct, if you say this, I dare to fail, means that it's good. But if your goal is not, is harmful to other people, and if you dare to fail, that becomes very detrimental. That's the kind of person will be over here. And they are very talented, very competent, but they are not virtuous. It's what we call 小人, the petty person. And he will do all kinds of things that is harmful to other people, which in the end also harmful to himself, a petty person. And the petty person, as opposed to what is德then? What is virtue? Virtue is 正. 正 means upright. 直 very sincere. 中 means fair. And 和 is amicable. That means he can keep peace. He can keep peace in a very tough situation. So it's not just this quality, right, which makes a person a good leader. Actually, a good leader should have this as well. He must be upright, he must be sincere, he must be fair, and he learns how to keep peace. So, now, about keeping peace. Why is keeping peace important as a leader? Isn't leader means you know how to charge, you know how to lead, people listen to you, follow you, isn't that enough? Why is keeping peace important? 为什么和这么重要? Okay, do some thinking. Okay, who wants to give it a try? 为什么和重要? You can actually keep peace among the pack. Why is it important? Is it more important than being clever, being perceptive? I'm strong, I'm determined. Why? Why keeping peace so important?
Disorganized. Disorganized. Things will be disorganized.
Things will be disorganized. Things will be chaotic. Okay? Now, when you think about your own organization or your family, okay, who is a true leader in your family? The one who earns the money, bring money home. Who's a true leader?
Mother.
Mother. Okay, mother. What kind of mother would be the leader? First of all, did you ever? I want to listen to you. Hear you out first, really. What do you think mother is the leader?
She's the person to stabilize the house. She's the person to stabilize the house, to organize, to make sure everything is running properly, according to whether to schedule or whether to day-to-day things.
So is she keeping peace?
Yeah. I mean, keeping peace is in the sense that if the kids are arguing or what, she will be the peacemaker. But of course, the father does play a part, but very minor part. Supporting role, not the main actor.
Okay, he brings in the money. Yeah, which is important.
Yeah. No money also cannot.
Yes, which is important. Okay. Now, thank you. Now, the role of a leader, what we call this person is able to maintain peace, in an organization. Now, family is actually a little mini organization. Now, is leader the most, in terms of his talent, his competency, is he the smartest guy in terms of technical wise? you will find that a leader may not be technically the wisest, cleverest person, but the fact that he can be where he is because he has the drawing power. He draws people towards him, and he's able to balance the differences of all the people that surround him. You cannot have only one type of person to work around you. That is very dangerous, because no one side is perfect. You need a lot of ideas, a lot of inputs to help you balance out, okay, your decision. But we all know that talented people, or people who have capability, they also tend to be what? Opinionated. They also tend to be very competitive. And I find that people who stir up troubles are usually people who are quite smart, very talented people, very competent people. That's why they are opinionated. When you have so many opinions, so many ideas about doing something in your company or in your family, you have to be wise enough to decide whose decision, whose opinions to take, and after you take, maybe you have to synthesize all the opinions that you have received. So this talent is very important. And because you'll be perceived as whether you are fair or not based on the decision. Okay, so you have to be fair, you have to be upright. And why is upright important? 为什么正 so important? This word 正 without even learning how to read Chinese, it's just by looking at the word, the 5 strokes, you know that it is very what? Square, upright. As opposed to this word today, 虚. 虚 means one day. Okay? The other word is 虚. So, 正 means you are very upright. You are not deceptive. You won't lie. You won't cheat. You won't do things that is not appropriate to the virtue. And your children learn from you. Your staff learn from you. That's what being a leader must have, this kind of quality. Now, if you should follow a leader who's a crook, who's very scheming, don't you think you should also have to behave the same way in order to work with him? Or else you have to lead the company. So likewise, your little company is your family. So being the leaders of the family, you have to make sure that you act like in an upright manner and you are sincere. 直 means very down to earth, very sincere. That you're not crook. They think all kinds of ways to spread. And so is fair. This fair is not based on your own emotions. The fairness is based on what we learn from the virtues. Because we are biased. For no good reasons, you will just like one child over the other. You can't explain it, isn't it? Why do you like a certain child and not the other? Is there any reason for that? Let's say you have 3 children, but you like one, not the other 2, or you like 2, not the other one. Why? Is there any reason? Yes? Oh, okay? Yeah, it's a reason.
I think as a mother you try to be fair, but it's just that there's always like when one child is very challenging to the other, you tend to move to the other one which please you. Whereas the challenging child, you find it very tiring and very difficult to communicate. So it's not saying that you don't love the other child, it's just that you tend to sway to the other child because the other child knows like what the mother wants or how to communicate the right words, whereas the other child always like kind of presses the wrong button. So it's more to like you just sway to the other side. It's just that it's not that you don't love the other child, you love, but you tend to move to the other side.
Okay, yes. I don't think you deliberately like someone and
Yeah.
you don't like someone.
Yeah.
It's something about the child. Okay? Even with human beings, isn't it? You tend to be friends who are more alike. The way they talk, the way they behave. But it doesn't mean that you don't like them. It just that you cannot be as close. Likewise, it doesn't mean that you don't love your child who's very challenging. It's just that you are less close to that person. So in chapter 1, we said that we should do what pleases our parents, so not to annoy them, isn't it? Because parents, well, you said that, why should I be nice to my mother? And we can also say, my mother is not right. So why should I be nice to my mother? Now, for little children, we don't teach too many reasons. Just that you have to be nice to your mother. For teenagers, it's a bit more difficult. And so, as a mother, it's more so important that you become this upright, sincere, fair, and amicable. Then you can keep peace. You have to be fair, okay, to the child. But is it fair means perfect equality? You got to remember, fair doesn't mean perfect equality. Remember the story I told you about the woman who wants to share everything, who wants to distribute everything equally to her 2 daughters? In the end, her two daughters cannot live with each other. They also cannot live with the mother because the mother just can't satisfy everything. Everything being equally, and they will not yield to each other because I want everything to be equal. If he has something, I must have something. I cannot not have what he has. Okay? So much so that 2 shirts that look different will create an argument. So she cannot buy 2 shirts with different design. Everything must be the same. So fair doesn't mean that perfect equality. Fair means you have to judge, okay, by the merit. Not by your emotions, not by your own values, which is not, reasonable. Okay. And okay, so over here, he can do a lot of destruction because he has the ability to do so. Okay. But over here, somebody who is not virtuous, but who is incapable over here. He's incapable over here. Even though he likes to do damage, it's not that serious. So he's Yong Cai. Someone who likes to do destruction, but thankfully is not as capable to do so. But this type of person can be also a problem. Why? He is prone to jealousy. Okay, he will obstruct you. He will prone to jealousy. He will stop you from doing the right thing because he doesn't know what is right or wrong. He's not fair. He's not upright. He's not sincere. He's not able to keep peace. But he wants to get something, out of you. And this one, so we call Junzi. He is virtue, but he's maybe not as smart as this guy. So he's over here. And this type of leaders, if he ever becomes leader, he can attract people to him or her because he's virtuous. Because he knows how to make people laugh, he knows how to make people work, but at the same time knows how to reward them. Or likewise, need to punish or admonish them when necessary. So that's what I call the fairness of it. And with regard to marriage, again, it is something that we learn, over time. How do we base the marriage thing? Based on reason. And we have to be very patient. And children, they need encouragement. This is very important. Children need encouragement. If you find that keep on scolding the children, there's no effect, then they need encouragement. But what do you encourage him though? Do you encourage him to do the wrong thing? Or you encourage him to do the right thing? What are the things that we can encourage or see our children done that you should or you have encouraged him to do so? I saw some of your 聚宝盆, some of them were quite good. You want to share it here? What are the things that your children do and you encourage them to do so? Or your spouse? Something your spouse has done right and you encourage them to do so. Can you think of any? Do you have any? Someone did the right thing and you said, wow, that's wonderful. No? Yeah?
I normally, ever since attending the class, I learned respect. So I encourage my younger son to respect the elder brother. Then the elder brother would take care of the younger son. So I think it is working, but in a very slow progress. But this is what the encouragement I give to my younger son, to respect the elder brother. Because before this, I used to scold the elder one because I feel that he is very harsh towards the brother. But I didn't realize actually he wanted respect from the younger brother. So now with that, the younger one learns to respect the older brother.
Oh, that's interesting. So instead of scolding and
your elder son, you're supposed to take care of your younger brother. You shouldn't do this to your younger brother. But now is when the older brother is reprimanding the younger one, then I will stand aside. I will allow him to do so, and I will advise the younger one to listen to the older one, because what he's saying is correct.
So you are being fair.
I'm trying.
Okay, ask the younger brother to respect the elder ones, because you find that the elder actually was correct. It was the younger one who was not respectful.
But sometimes the older one is wrong, but I still give him the respect so that the younger one will listen to him. I still do that, but at the same time, after that, I will tell the older one that what you do sometimes is not right, but it's like in a way not to put him down.
Very interesting. Ask the younger brother to respect the elder ones, but at the same time, help the elder son to learn how to be someone who's being respected. Because the younger one always feel that whatever he does is correct, the mother will protect him. Then the older brother will get scolded for that. So no, now I don't. I like the older brother kind of scolded. Interesting. So is there anybody here who is still scolding the elder one? That's something to be thought about, isn't it? I never thought about that before, yeah. That's good, because our mothers always say, he's young. But 让他 because he's young. Then you to the younger person. And but now they respect the older ones and observe how the older ones behave. Anybody try that? Or we still scolding the elder ones? Anybody try that? that's a good tactic to be shared. Huh? So if everything has failed in your family, try that. Okay? Ask the smaller ones to respect the elder ones. Okay? Then the ball is thrown at the elder one, isn't it? So what happens if your younger brothers, they all respect you? What should you do? The elder ones and the other elder brother. What should you do? They all respect you very much. Yeah, they should respect you. Huh? You should pound at them. Oh well, yeah, earn their respect then. Okay, the elder ones learn how to earn their respect when they respect you. And you will find that being an elder brother actually have a lot of power. I'm the elder brother. You know what? When one of our director's mom, after she passed away, apparently they found that her body was very stiff. You know, they were chanting and body was still stiff. Until the eldest son, because her mother always worried that the family would disintegrate after she passed away. She was always fearful of that. She wanted the whole family to stay together. But somehow she felt that if after she passed away, the family will break apart. So they told us that they found the mother was very stiff, which according to in the Buddhist is not a very good sign. So they thought, what else can we do for mother? Okay. Then they asked the eldest son, the eldest brother, to go in there and told her this. Hey mom, it's okay. You can go away peacefully. I will make sure the family will stay together. Don't worry. The eldest son, the eldest brother. And brother, after he said that, the mother body started to relax. No longer crunch, then like that. But it took the eldest brother to do that. So the eldest child actually has a lot of authority. But do try to earn the respect. But it is good that we teach the younger ones to respect the older ones. Let the older ones realize that, hey, I'm being respected, but I have to earn their respect. And really to hold up the responsibility. And one of the ways, remember the story about the importance of keeping the family together. Remember we say, 财务亲怨和生. If you do not consider family ties as more important than money, you'll be able to keep the family together. So there is a story about the family of Tian Zhen Han Jing. This story about the family of Tian Zhen is the eldest brother. The eldest brother was looking at this tree, what we call the red bud tree. This kind of tree. We don't have it in Malaysia. They have it in China. Right? It blooms in the springtime, right? And you see no leaves. They're all flowers, like violet flowers, the red bud tree, 紫荆树. You see others, all these beautiful purple flowers. So their family also have a red bud tree around the courtyard. Now this story is about the family of Tian. There are three brothers. The eldest brother is called Tian Zhen. The second brother is called Tian Qing. The third brother is called Tian Gua. So three brothers. So after their parents passed away, they wanted to divide up the properties equally. And including this tree. Including this tree, they don't know what to do with this tree because it is in the middle of the property. So they want to divide up all of the property and they want to split. They no longer want to stay together. They split up the property, they want to take their own money and they want to leave the whole family. So after they decided to do that, something happened to that tree. That tree started to die. As if the tree knows that the brothers are going to live apart. The tree started to die. The three brothers look at this tree and say, "Is this so funny? Why is it starting to peel off where it should be as beautiful as this?" So they felt that maybe it's because we decided to split, and the tree was very sad. And we may think that it's quite silly to talk to a tree and to think about a tree, but somehow I feel the tree has lives. Now you try to go home and keep scolding the tree and see what happens. Not scolding the tree, a plant. Do this experiment. Okay? Every day you walk past, you scold that plant. See what happens. There was this experiment about they put 3 bowls of rice, and one bowl of rice, you just leave it there, you do nothing. Okay? And then one bowl of rice, you keep scolding at it. And you stupid rice, foolish, whatever. Okay? I hate you. You're horrible. Keep scolding them. Then there's another bowl of rice, which you thank you so much. If not for you, I'll be starved to death. I love you, no butter. I love you, and I wish the best for you. You are the best rice in the world. And so 3 bowls. And actually, our friend did this experiment. I didn't have time to look for the slides. Right? If I can find, I'll show you. Now, the bowl of rice, after I think a week, was full of mold, black mold. Horrible smelling, right? Black mold, and it turned back, right? Wow. Not that black, but it turned moldy, right? The bowl of rice, which they passed by and kept saying, I love you, you are great, right? That bowl of rice will still get sour, okay, but not as smelly. But the most horrible, smelly, and most moldy one was the one that they ignored. So apparently, Cold War is worse than an outbreak war. Apparently, if you ignore it, it is what? Cold shoulders. You don't say anything to him, to the rice now. You don't say anything to the rice. You don't care about it. Every day you pass by, you just have walk. Apparently, that was the worst. So, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes Cold War, not sometimes, but Cold War is very bad. So when you don't want to talk to each other, is that good? No, it's not very good. It's poisonous. So your cells, your body is actually turned sour, moldy, and horrible smelling, okay? Poisoning yourself. Okay? So it's better to talk over it, but not good to scold and yell. Like you become that bowl of rice that was scolded. You get smelly, you still get a mold. Okay? So the best one is you keep praising each other, you keep encouraging each other. But then you said, I don't know why that person is very pretentious. That person is very pretentious. It's not, I remember once, I told my friend, I said, you are such a hypocrite. That you are such a hypocrite. When you talk to me, you are so arrogant, you're so vain. But when you talk to other people, you are so nice. You are so gentleman. I think you are the biggest hypocrite that I ever knew. Outside your niceties, actually you are very, very obnoxious. And of course that didn't help, did it? So he started to, say, now you don't understand me, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, about why people treat you in a certain way, but you treat other people the other way. Why? Or do you ever have friends that tell you, what we call it, we banter each other? That means we scream and yell at each other because I treat you as my friend. Yeah. Have you ever experienced that? A lot, isn't it? I treat you as my friend, and therefore I dare to talk to you like this, huh? Right? If I don't think you are my friend, I won't talk to you like this. So, but then you look at your good friend, he seems to be very polite to other people. So how do you feel?
Used to it. Used to it.
What?
Used to it.
You get used to it. Yeah. But what happens if you can't get used to it?
That would feel bad.
Yeah, you will feel bad, right? You will feel bad. Why is he doing this to you? Right? So you got to remember this, okay? to people who we are close, we tend to be a little bit less polite because we take for granted. So there is a Chinese saying, you know what Chinese saying? 君子之交淡如水. That means the friendship of a gentleman is as plain as water. Okay? The friendship of a gentleman is as plain as water. Don't be too close. If you are too close, you tend to say, you're less polite, a bit more unfiltered in your mind. Okay? 君子交淡如水，小人之交甜如蜜。That the friendship from a petty man is as sweet as the honey. It's very sweet, but after a while, you get bitter. And so the Chinese always say, 君子之交淡如水, as plain as water. Otherwise, you start taking each other for granted, and when you scold the other person enough, one day that person will say, what? Enough. I am fed up with you. That's when what we say, how come one sentence I said could break off our relationship? Was that one thing you said? No, it's accumulated for many, many times already. You just take that one more thing that you said. Okay. So, think about this, okay? Yeah, you say, I am close to you, you are close to me, and therefore I can say anything I want to you. No. That person also human being. Because remember this, and human being is very fragile. Okay, let's face it, human being is fragile. Okay? If you keep on scolding a person or keep being impolite or rude to a person, eventually that person will break. And the relationship will break, the friendship will break, the family will break apart. So it's always nice to say what? Remember the chapter on trust, 话说多不如少，唯其事勿佞巧. You don't need to say too much, but whatever you say, you must say it in an appropriate manner, and do not use foul language. Do not use language that put people down. Okay. Now, what are the languages that can put people down? If you insinuate the other person is a liar, if you insinuate, that means if you imply that person is a liar, you are putting that person down actually. And if you insinuate that person is not smart, you're also putting the other person down. And we do this all the time. We say things that make the other person feel that he's not smart. By how? What are the language that we use that will make other people feel they're not smart? 你这样都不会啊? You don't know this. So simple, you don't know. Okay. What else? Think about something you said to your child recently that might have put him down. Or between brothers and sisters that might have put them down. Look, brothers and sisters here. Oh, I have to ask them again because they're young. Remember one thing that you said that might have put your brother or sister down? Yeah, you okay. Thank you for volunteering. Stupid. Direct. Oh, you say stupid, you see? So nobody likes to be called stupid, isn't it? So, remember I said I told my youngest brother, because my mom wants me to teach him mathematics. So I taught him one sum and he didn't understand. I said, you are so stupid. And he went to my mom and said, I will never want my sister to teach me mathematics again. Please get me a tutor. I want to go to tuition. And so there goes my very brief period of tuition class. Because I think you're so stupid. No, don't put people down by saying people are stupid. 将家人先问己. When before you say something to other people, think about how about the other person say the same thing to you. I think you like them to say stupid. It's okay. Okay, what's the joke difference between a joke and humor? Humor doesn't hurt. A joke can. A joke can hurt. So is it joking? I say 肥婆. I say 肥婆. Hey, just kidding, right? Just kidding. Say 高佬. Just kidding. Say 硬妹. Just kidding. No, but these are the things that hurt people. So don't. Okay? And I think we also talk about 男人爱面子. Men love what? Blah, blah, blah. You have to take care of the man's ego. It's very important. So, but you may say, always take care of his ego, but it's a hypocrite. Okay, never mind, give him some face. Okay? Give the eldest brother some face. Give the elder sister some face. Okay? It is okay to do so. But you must also realize that people need encouragement. So do not put them down. Always encouragement them with good words. So if you see your child very respectful towards the teacher, but not very respectful to you, do you see that as hypocritical? 佢對我佢先生就好啊，對我真係好衰啊。Have you ever have children like that? I don't believe in my children. They are pretending to. At home, and then when we once praised a student, a child, the mother said us, 哎呀，老師你不知道啊。Said, teacher, so you do not know, you know how we behave at home. So we then put all the bad things, out. All the dirty demons came out. That will spoil our image of this child. Then you look at the child's face. The child look as if there's a hole, he will drop himself into it. 面子啊，给点面子. Okay. Everybody needs some encouragement. And the fact that he could be nice to his teacher, isn't that good? How would you like your child not to be respectful towards his teacher? You're going to have a problematic child. He doesn't respect teacher because his teacher can teach him to be nice to you, isn't it? Because the child listens to the teacher, so the teacher can teach him to respect you. If he doesn't respect his teacher, the teacher can't teach him anything. So if he said, my teacher is very good, my teacher knows this. I think some parents are very kind of turned off by the child who said, my teacher say this, my teacher say that, my teacher say it's not like this. And then they say, when he was young, before he goes to primary school, listen to me. He said, my mother says this, my mother says this. After he goes to school, my teacher says this, my teacher says that. It's not bad, it's okay. Then you encourage him and you say, oh, really? Your teacher teach you good things. You must respect your teacher. Instead of, how come you always say your teacher say this? What about me? I tell my sister-in-law said that, 成日講我先生講，我講咧，我講就唔得咩？做咩先生講就聽，我講就唔聽？哎呀！ You know what? If he listens to the teacher, 哎呀好啊，要聽話，我聽先生講啊。Then the teacher will teach him how to respect you. Don't worry, okay? So he said, but only listen to his father, won't listen to me. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? 成日聽阿爸講啊，唔聽我講㗎，我冇用㗎，我講咩都冇用。But is that good or bad? Huh? Then you say, yeah, what sort of thing that he likes the daddy so much, right? So, the daddy is very pampering. The daddy buys everything for the kid. You know how we say TV is kind of evil, right? So after you learn the 传统文化弟子规 you go home, you tell your children, no watching television. Then the daddy said, what's the big deal? Let him watch a bit lah. Then you say, yeah, daddy, man, hey, man. My daddy. Mother, evil. Mother is evil. Won't give me, won't let me watch television. So it's not evil or not evil. You set up the time slot where they can watch television and what program can they watch. You suddenly stop them from watching, you can't. Give them a time slot that they can watch. Give them a time slot they can play their computer game. But, okay, let them know that they cannot spend all their time watching television, watching movies, and playing computer games. I don't know whether it has some effect on our brain. I think almost all movies, like not say all, but most movies, have violence in it. What would that do to our brain? I think it would have an impact, isn't it?
I think computer has more impact than television.
Computer, they watch movies in.
No, if you play games.
Playing games.
I feel that my elder son, if he play games for a very long period of time, he will have very short temper. This is what I observed since when he started to play. Then I cut off, then he doesn't. If it's a long period of time, then he does.
Well, I believe so too. Because I find that if I were playing some games, right, and somebody were to ask me something, I feel very edgy. I am playing, so I'm about to do that draw thing, you know? You know how to drop the draw, you make 3, then suddenly explode. I felt very accomplished. It's kind of silly, isn't it? What is so accomplished about that? They are just some graphics exploding, give you some marks. You really believe in it. We really believe, you know. Sometimes I think about it's very sad. And I remember the Game Boy when it first came out. You know how you shoot and suddenly the big rockets came out? The big rocket, and then it started to explode, and you, wow, congratulations. I thought I won the world, you know. But actually, it's just a little Game Boy with like rocket exploding. I said, wow, you know, congratulations. I must be a very sore loser at the time. No big accomplishment outside my life, and then that little Game Boy became my biggest accomplishment. So yeah, people get very short-tempered and thinking that they can redo and undo things, but in real life you can't. Okay. And I think recently, wasn't there a very young son who was playing with the father's gun, and suddenly the gun ran off and killed off his little sister? Now, it's not like the cartoon they watch, you know, in cartoon, even though, I didn't remember, Roadrunner, the coyote, he would overrun by a truck or a car totally flat on the road, and suddenly he will what? He can boing, bounce back, spring back. Like, in real life, it doesn't happen. If somebody is flat, he's flat. He's very flat. He won't bounce back. He won't boing, bounce back. But in the movie, oh look, it's so funny, ha 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 ha. And I think, was it Tom and Jerry? They always use a big hammer to pump each other. Nothing happened, right? And we saw children what? Ha 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 ha. What happened if you really get this big hammer and start hammering, you know, the other kid? It's not going to be like the cartoon. Okay? Or how about the Power Ranger? Was it Power Ranger? Yeah. The one who used the legs to kick. I have to look at her because you must have watched. Was it a Power Ranger? Yeah, use a kick, always use a legs to kick.
So many kicking ones.
Kicking ones, I think it was Power Ranger because, see, I know what was popular in the television just by looking at the kids in my class. So one day they came in with this, ha! Yeah, you know that. Exactly, Ultraman. So when they came in, wait! They were doing this. I said, Ultraman. I said, excuse me. You know, I always say excuse me to these little children. I said, excuse me. Why do you like Ultraman? Ultraman 厉害啊，老师。Ultraman is very powerful. You see those big dinosaurs? 那个怕恐龙啊，打。They're very graphic, by the way. The children, 哇，打这样的。I said, okay. I said, but there is one problem. I said, you know, his battery doesn't last too long. After 10 minutes, he needs to recharge. Isn't it? Some more, he has to recharge his solar energy, isn't it? He runs on solar energy. What happens if there was very cloudy? It's very cloudy and there's no sun. He has to fly very, very high. And meanwhile, halfway, he got no battery. What happened? They will drop. And they looked at me very seriously. They thought it was real, by the way. Children are very serious about what they believe. So it was what, as I said, if you want to choose a superhero, choose one who can last a bit longer. Not Ultraman, right? So, and okay, not Ultraman. So one day, yeah, actually I asked them to go and look Superman. It's not bad, it's Superman really by himself, okay? But don't wear the underwear the other way. The new Superman costume is different. Okay, so then one day they came in with this. Then I know it's Power Ranger. I said, oh, what is it? Teacher, they use this to kick all these bad guys. 拿脚去踢啊，很厉害的。I said, when you want to do good things, you really have to kick the bad guys. I said, you don't need to. 不是打就要打人的。Is that only you can settle things with your fist? No, you don't need to settle things with your fist. You can settle things with reasons. And you don't need always to come and kill other people. Now to talk to teenagers about Iron Man. Iron Man 4 is coming out then. Iron Man. Okay. What is so great about Iron Man? Anybody like Iron Man? You like Iron Man? And can you tell me what do you like about Iron Man?
Very cool.
Very cool, isn't it? He tells everybody he has saved the world. He will save the world. Everybody is gone. I am the Iron Man. Unlike Batman, unlike Batman who hid his identity, Iron Man will tell the whole world, hey, I'm the one. It's really cool, isn't it? Right? That's some problem. He still needs that shirt. So what happens if he walks with his girlfriend in the garden or in the park? Suddenly somebody pointing a gun at him and he said, honey, please wait here because I left my suit in the car. Let me go and get it. That may be too late, isn't it? So you still need the outer, the iron task to help him to become a Superman. But now I think he implanted the shirt inside him, isn't it? I think the Iron Man 3, as if that the shirt is inside him. How do you like to walk with a heavy shirt like that? Would he be very light and happy? He won't. So I actually told these kids and young teenagers, a superhero is one who is powerful without all these gadgets. He is powerful the way he is. Not because he needs to rely on the external gadgets. The most powerful weapon one has is your mind. Your mind is the most powerful weapon in the world. It will decide whether you are alive or you die. All these superheroes, eventually they win because of their willpower. Remember all these evil forces? They were too overpowering. What happened? And he saw them hit on the floor, getting tumbled, smashed here and smashed there, and we were all watching like, oh, please, stand up, please, stand up. Meanwhile, everybody else was kind of, we'll see how he died, right? And then suddenly, through his sheer willpower, what did happen? He bounced back and leaped up, and I'm going to give you everything I can. Because I know I'm doing this for justice. It's the sheer willpower, not the weapon. When you have weapon, your enemy will have better weapons. And that's why you see their suits are getting heavier or slimmer but more powerful. Okay, they always have a new gadget. From the primitive Batman to the later Batman, don't you find that the car was more kind of like aerodynamic and all his gadgets were more what we call using modern technology? Now, unlike the old Batman, he just have to stand in front of you, they get scared. It's power, the order. So what happens if you have the most powerful weapon within your hand, but you lose out in your will? You don't have the will to fight. Somebody can be over at the back, can harm you from sight, and something not everything that the weapon you can win. Eventually, it's your willpower, it's your mind. Your mind will decide what you will do, not the weapons, not all these computers, not these gadgets that you own. And I remember for all these movies, in the end, when everything has failed, there's nothing more they can do. They always ask for this. Oh God, please help me. Oh, see, it works. When all human efforts have failed, you will ask for the divine power. Something that you think that no human power can save you, or your family, or your loved ones. That's the time when you go back to the most primitive part of your mind. You will look for that source, that divine source which is actually already in you. You go back to that. Not all the things that you own in the world can save your loved ones. You have to depend on spiritual. Okay? There's something that thinks inside your mind that tells you, you've got to move on. You've got to survive. And recently we were in the hospital actually every night to chant and pray for a patient. And in the end, she has to depend on herself. She must not lose the will to live. She must hang on. So same with you. You find that you get all this help from outside, your parents, your material goods and so on. But in the end, it is the sheer power of your mind that will win. So like this tree, the tree which actually heard that, the tree will also feel sad. That started to die off. So when the brothers, they saw the tree, they realized that, geez, even the tree feels sad to know that we're going to live apart from each other. Maybe we should not. We should reconsider. We should still live as a family. And that's what they did. And after they did that, that tree became better. Started to have new leaves, and the next spring started to have flowers. Okay? So even these trees, they are beings who live in there, they can understand. Really, if you want to do the experiment, do that. If you have a plant, you always go that plant every day, you will see how it looks. Okay? All the conditions are the same, except that it will scold. Okay? Or you just give him the cold shoulder. Okay? Who cares about you? Every day give him that, give it the cold shoulder. It will die very sadly. Okay? So with human beings the same. You all need encouragement. It's not the money, it's not all these material goods, but something from your heart, something from your words. You encourage the person who you actually almost give up hope. Could be your children, could be your spouse. You almost give up hope already. Try the words of encouragement. 言语人分之明. Stop behold the hurting words. Okay? Scolding, belittling, putting them down. But of course, it's very challenging, isn't it? Why is it challenging? Because you're already very angry. You feel you're very angry, you feel like cheated. Okay, he doesn't listen to me, he doesn't do the things I want him to do, so it's quite challenging. So, let's not make other people too aggravated. There are two sides to it, okay? If you are on the receiving end, and your mother keeps scolding you, try to listen also. Do you think our mother scolds us for fun? Well, let me see what can I have fun today. What do I have fun today? I'm going to scold you because you happen to stand in front of me and you happen to do some rotten things and I happen to like to scold you. No. Mother always scolds us because she wants us to be better by not making mistakes, stupid mistakes, things that will cause us into trouble. If we fight with my brothers and sisters today, I will fight with somebody else, somewhere. Okay? If I'm rebellious against my parents, I will rebel against my boss, my superiors. Somehow it will appear somewhere. I may not even like my professors or my teachers because I have no respect, 没有长幼, no elders or junior. Okay? So it all intertwined. So I think the lesson for this week is that we hope that we can speak a little bit more encouraging words ask the younger ones to respect the elder ones. Let the heart of the elder ones settle down because he got this respect, okay? And he will try to earn that respect. And if you are friends, okay, or spouses, husbands and wife, try to be, not try like you must, encourage each other. And don't put down each other, saying that, you are my wife, or you are my husband, or you are my son, or you are my mother, so I can say all kinds of horrible things to you. Just stay contrary. We should actually be nicer to our family, not the opposite. If we can't be nice to our family, who else can we be nice to? If we cannot be nice to our family, if we have to be nice to someone else, it's not real love. There must be some motivation behind it. Because there's no motivation, ulterior motive behind our family, therefore we can be rude to them. Okay? That's what it tells people. Okay? So, what are the three things again? What are the three things again? Anybody? You see, our memory is very short. Okay, we got to learn to be respectful. Okay, the younger ones respectful too for the older ones. Okay, and we also have learned that to be more encouraging, encouraging for each other. And or if I can add something, it's also like rely on your mind. Your mind is the most important, most powerful weapon that you can have. Okay? And respect needs to be earned, and respect needs to be given. And with that, I will end my session here. Good night, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.